theater was where it executed from. This data area is like a type, different things. So this is probably the coolest piece of software in Defender right here. Well, next to Sam's explosion routine as well. This is the process dispatch team, which is like, I mean, this is literally our core processing loop, which I guess in Linux it's about 2 gigabytes. Here it is like, I don't know, maybe 25 bytes or something. So basically you load, it was a cooperative multitasking, you load the active list, if it's null you exit, otherwise decrement the sleep time, and if the sleep time is 0, then you go and execute the process. And then eventually that process is supposed to jump back and go back to the operating system, and if all things work properly, if they're well behaved, which sometimes there was problems, but it was a pretty cool system. It was super, but we could basically dispatch a process. I think it was at 17 microseconds, so that's pretty cool. All right, so now we did this wonderful operating system. So it's still like, that's what sucks about video games. Like in pinball, it's like you have flippers, you have all this stuff, and it's like, okay, just make some lights and make some sounds and blow some, nowadays I guess, do a lot of RGB LED effects, and now you got video. But it's like you have a game actually, but in a video game, it's just, you got nothing.
Yeah. And the bosses come around, they want to see what you're doing.
That's right.
You got a little song and dance.
Right. This was about 3 months into or 3 or 4 months into the project. Like we had this delay, but it's an old programmer, the line programmer. It's like, oh yeah, we're working on the internals. We're working. You're not going to see anything for a while. So don't panic. But we're doing all this really cool operating system, and awesome routines, and all this cool stuff's happening. And like any day now, you'll see a game. All right. So this is kind of like games today. I mean, they're like freaking movies. It's like, I mean, it's amazing where video games have come today, and we forget like how miraculous they are. They're just second nature. But back in the day, it was really you just had very little video resources, so you couldn't like blow them away with cool movies and awesome boss monsters with 492 shading processes, cool lighting and all this stuff. You had to somehow make a game, and it sucked. All right, so basically you had to do some the gameplay, and then play, tweaking. But it was about, I mean, it was really like, it was very basic, and it's funny, the environment at the time, it was not the self-esteem generation in those days. And it was really about just like totally kicking the player's ass, just like brutalizing him and like just, I guess because it was like, kids got, much more punishment at home, and they liked it. And they wanted to be told how worthless they were and all this kind of stuff. But it's kind of cool that Flappy Birds has kind of brought that back. I don't know if anybody's ever tried to play Flappy Birds.
Oh yeah. My score was 3.
Okay, 3 points. Yeah, there you go. But yeah, you just kick people's ass, and they're just like, this is cool. I'm getting my ass kicked. So it was all about kind of this difficulty, trying to convince people that they might win, at some point in time, with enough investment. It was, kind of like, dating or something. Like, after the 30th date, maybe something might happen. The ring may show up, another couple of years maybe. So then it was kind of this like long-term hero play, where it was kind of, if you mastered this brutal, brutality challenge, then you could, be a hero, and everybody would like watch you, and you're like, it's the arcade hero. So the biggest problem, though, in this generation of games, was there was the difficulty curve.
Yeah.
You know, you kind of like, you spend like 8 months making a game. A lot like today, where you spend all this time making your game, and then like the last week you actually play it and tweak it.
And then you have to do all the tuning in no time.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you end up, a lot of times it's just like, well, the first level has to be easy, the second level is like medium, and the third level, you know, it's time to take their money. You know?
Yeah. No one will ever get beyond that.
Yeah, monetization, people. Monetization.
Yeah.
And you know, we didn't have like the, you know, you couldn't like, you know, watch an advertisement and get more tokens or something.
Yeah, when they tested games, they would time the gameplay in seconds. You know,
Yeah.
how many seconds is the average gameplay, and they would freak out if it got over a minute or
Yeah.
2 minutes or something. Yeah.
Yeah, Defender was 37 seconds. Okay, so then basically, and then it was like, it was as a game designer, you were like, and I guess it's the same thing today. I mean, you want to design the game that you want to play. You know, you wanted, you know, like, what would be the ultimate game? You know, like, what am I going to do? And so you dream of like, all the cool features. And like Defender was like, hey, you know, I'll play like Space Invaders with my left hand and Asteroids with my right hand. And, you know, then I'll have a gas pedal, you know. And you put together this fantasy of your ultimate game. And what you have to watch out for is like most game designers are kind of weird people. And so like our ultimate fantasy is maybe not too popular with the general population, you know. So that's a problem.
Well, the leading game at that time was Pac-Man.
That was simultaneous to our game.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Right. Don't give them.
Okay. Good.
We did not clone Pac-Man.
Well, I'm just talking about the controls.
Right.
We were going crazy.
That's true.
You were going crazy with controls.
That's
and
right.
everyone else was like, what are you going to do with all those buttons?
That's true.
No one will ever figure it out.
That's true. That's true. It was okay. Okay. So then we're going to talk about, you know, this is an age-old problem in design. Is that, and especially when you have a team, and the team was Sam and me and some other people, a few other hangers-on,
Yeah.
and managers. And
Well, you're
stuff.
doing most of the design. Yeah.
Yeah, but we had, I mean, there was this banter going on. You know, there was like, anyway. So you always have like more ideas than resources.
Yeah.
You know, and that's always the problem. You know, and so then you have this guy like today. It's like you have some guy like the Brace, or you know, like he like tells people what to do, and you know, and like, I mean, somebody has got to be kind of the designated asshole that we all can hate. You know. So it's like, how do you design? You know, how do you do this? And like, a lot of times you have some, you know, you talk to, you know, some committee, or you talk to Steve Jobs, or you know, Steve, and you know, you need somebody to make the decision. And I remember at Atari, when I was working at Atari, there's this guy named Gene Lipkin, who was the kind of the game guru. And I remember a friend of mine worked on a boat game for like 2 years, and it finally came this game review, and Gene, who was like the guru, you know, played the boat game for about 5 minutes and said, you know what, boat games suck. You know, and that was it. You know, that was a project. I mean, but so you have to. How do you do this? Because it's just opinion. You know, it's not. I mean, like Google today, they give you. You know, they do all this, all these different things you can click on. They find out what is the most appealing icon and everything. And so it's actually, you know, evidence based. It's not just some guy saying, you know, boat games suck. So what? So this is kind of the corporate thing here. You create the definition, and the technical design, the storyboards, videos, market the idea, and then you, after rejection, you go to one. So we didn't have that, but
Did not have that.
all right. So you know, I promised the California history. I wrote something about the corpocracy, and Ken Chaney, I think it's Ken, the guy who runs the show. He got really excited about this corpocracy. So I had to write a slide about this. But this is like, you know, why does you know, why do things happen with small teams, you know, versus like the big, you know, why doesn't, you know, why did Tesla make an electric car and not, you know, Henry Ford, you know, or maybe Henry Ford did, I don't know, back in the day, I don't know. But anyway, it's like, why does the, you know, like Xerox PARC, why didn't they, you know, they made all this cool stuff, but it never got any traction, you know, they had to, you know, had to be stolen by other people. So, you know, it's like, so in the large corporation, you have a lack of focus. And you have distractions. in the small team, you have small resources, no redundancy, everything counts. Large team, large resources, redundant teams, who cares? So it's kind of like when it's just you and Sam, you know, when it's me and Sam, it's like, it really counts, you know.
Yeah, everything we did was in the game. There was nothing got rejected.
Right, and if you quit, then I was fucked. If I quit, you were fucked. So it was like everybody counted. So it wasn't like, you know, you have this massive team of 100 people, and like if a couple guys leave, who cares? So you have your own existing product line, and you have creators versus committees. And this is the interesting thing I was thinking more about this. The larger the team you have, the more you're going to have reversion to the mean, where the people you hire will eventually just become average. And you will end up with just a big, average, mediocre thing. You know, the bigger it gets. It becomes, you know, the U.S. government at some point. It's we have a great country. TSA is wonderful. And then you need the larger your team. It's just like, you know, you're like your Intel. I don't know what they got, like 8-core i75 million, you know, whatever that thing is on that laptop there, you know. And it's like it's got all these cores, but it's like it runs no faster than my 1 core, you know. Why? You know, why do we get these traction? Because if you get all these computers or people, you have to coordinate more and more and more. And you spend all your time in meetings and committees and coordination of things, and you're not doing things. So, and the last thing here is that the small team, because you're kind of having a small sample of random selection, you know, you're very likely. I mean, you're very likely to get either really bad people, and you just fail very quickly, or it's more likely that you'll have, you know, some kind of outlying situation, a diversion.
Really good people are really good luck, too.
Right, if you get good luck. You know, if you like spin the dice, you roll 2 6s in a row, and you're cool. But if you have a team of 100 people, you're not going to roll 100 6s in a row. You know, it's not going to happen. So, all right, back to the game. Okay. So anyway, more shit here. Actually, this was kind of interesting.